Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. Last time we started playing this and the ship we were on was attacked by heretical forces within the crew. And during that we've managed to group up with Abelard and Idris. Idra, I think her name is. Completely zoned out on her name. Idira? I can't remember. I just finished recording the first episode and the name just went in one ear and out the other. Yep, that's the navigator. We gotta help him out. Alright, so we'll take that position, move Abelard up, move her to the right, and then proceed to stomp everyone. We're gonna do a fun attack here. This is a neat little attack to land on these guys. Chain lightning. Nothing like thinning out their numbers real quick. The creature in the chair appears as if it has become one with its throne. You see pink parchment-like skin stretched across the seat, and the limbs that have too many joints for a normal human being. The navigator is breathing heavily, the air whistling as it exits through the two dark gill-like slits on its cheeks. The creature's eyes are shut, the two ordinary eyes as well as the third one that sits in the center of its forehead. I believe Master Vespiatus still lives. Abelard flinches at the sight of the stretched skin and the dark marks on the face of the creature. The servants are dead, but the chamber, thank the Emperor, is still sealed from the warp. Well, we have a chance of leaving this place alive. Address Idira, what's wrong with him? Idira winces, wounded, exhausted, fighting back the endless horrors of the warp that are forcing their way into his head. Pick one. The navigator stirs, barely able to lift his head and half open his normal eyes. A dark drop rolls from under the closed lid of the third eye and down his face, leaving behind a black trail. Your time is short. The voice is coming from the Vox grill at the base of the bizarre chair. It is unclear how the navigator is able to produce human speech. Not gonna ask him, are you alright? That's a pretty stupid question. Our time is short to do what? Suddenly the navigator's body begins thrashing in place. It lurches forward, then falls back onto the seat, then thrusts forward again as its bones crack and its skin tears open. However, this fusion between the body and the chair appears to be stronger than these wild impetuses. The mutant remains seated but leans as far forward as he can, his layered raiment slowly turning crimson. The gill slits burst open, forming two hideous screaming mouth-like pits. Fall to your knees, mortal, and behold the final dawn. Idira shrieks in terror. It came from beyond. His body is not his. Idira's scream is echoed by the silent cries in your head. The unseen creature triumphs at the sight of the navigator succumbing to the paroxysms of corruption. Its march thunders under the burden of hopes. Unseal your hearts, and I will flood your souls with myriads of words and meanings, each one a portent of salvation within me. The navigator continues to convulse violently in his seat. shrieking and cackling. But then his fit stops abruptly. His face drenched in black and crimson, the dark ooze from under his third eyelid has turned from a trickle into a stream mixed with the blood coming out of his nose, and there is a purplish swelling around the eye. Run. Flee from this place while I still have the strength, the words come out of the Vox as a labored rattle. I can contain the intrusion, but not for long. We must begin the translation, leave the warp, and it can't be done without the Master Helmsman help. Address Abelard. The Navigator is still alive, but barely so. What do we do now? The Seneschal gazes at the figure in the chair. The ship can only begin the translation with the assistance of the Master Helmsman, if he is still alive. It is worth a try. We must get to the bridge, but we need support. The only option, or our only option, is to fight our way to the officer's deck and join forces with Ethelthrad and his people. I believe we will also find Lady Theodora there. She must have heard the call to arms in the servo skull relayed to us earlier. Adira reaches her hand out to the Navigator, but pulls it back at the last moment. Vespiatus, good luck and thank you. The Navigator does not give her a response. Black tears mixed with blood are streaming from under the closed eyelids, and the Vox at the base of the chair is bellowing out static interspersed with distant echoes of otherworldly laughter. Looking to see if we can give anybody any better gear. Because the axe is one-handed, I'll give it to Adira just so she has something to parry with when she's using a pistol. We can also switch psychic staffs, but I think they're the same. Yeah. And I can't use it yet. Oh no, I can. Now I can shoot lightning at people. Do we have to do something in here? No. I think we just head back through to the officer's deck, yep.
Your ship's as good as ours! It's all over for you!
I shall pity not your enemies. I shall heed not their pleas.
Somebody shoot these...
Shall betray not your tenets, nor stray one step from them. Take not your gaze from me. Leave me not without your grace.
I told you he would protect us.
My God, my light, my Emperor.
The white-haired warrior turns to face you, her dark eyes blazing. The weapon quivers in her hands, and for a brief moment, it seems she is not going to stop and will instead continue eliminating every target she sees, starting with you.
Sister Argenta! Sister Argenta, it is a relief to see you. We require all the forces we can muster.
Your face. It is unfamiliar. Who are you?
The Lord Captain's heir.
The hour is dark and daunting. The ship abounds with corruption. The faces of friends who are twisted by sneers of heresy. The eyes of comrades ignite with the arch-enemy's hunger. I will do what I must to halt the advance of the Dark Forces. But in these dire moments, little can be trusted. So I must know, why are you here?
Sister, I beg of you. Now is not the time for interrogations. The ship is under attack by heretics. We've been betrayed by our esteemed Master of Whispers. Edelthrad the Heir is waiting for our aid, and Lord Captain Theodora is expecting a report on our success. We are here to deal with the situation, so I suggest we all do just that.
The Seneschal is right, there is no time for talk.
Very well. We may leave it at that. For now. I cannot wait to rain righteous fire down upon each and every heretic.
What is a warrior of the Adeptus Sororitas doing aboard a rogue trader's ship? Your orders serve the Ecclesiarchy, do they not?
Sister Argenta is a guest of the Lord Captain. And that story deserves its own time and conversation. Under more appropriate circumstances.
Enough idle chatter. I am where I must be, and that will suffice.
We must get to the main hall of the deck.
Through this door. I shall join you, for it is my duty to the God Emperor to destroy this heresy.
We will follow. For now, we will hold off any heretics who might try to crawl in through the cracks to join the main assault. And we'll take a look at the generators while we're at it. Those villains made a mess of the cables. Oh, I wish we had a Tectomat with us. But we'll see what we can do without one.
Good to hear it. Sister?
Ready. May Terra's light illuminate our path through fire and darkness.
What's that pistol looking like? Well-maintained stub revolver, so definitely swap that out. Unless I screwed up and flub where it's supposed to go. Give him the dodge bonus. Then we'll just kind of fire through and see who we can hit. Buff Argenta's stats a little bit. Boosting momentum isn't really a big deal at the moment because we don't have a heroic act we can activate even. But it's free, so... Hit him with the Psychic Shriek. Really don't want Abelard to fall in this first fight. So it'd be nice to have him without debuffs for the next fights to come. Otherwise we have to burn first aid kits and that's really inconvenient. Give him some deflection. Yeah, Argenta, she's good, but she's kind of slow. Because she really, at least with the bolter, she gets like one attack. I've been meaning to check what overexerted was. Because I've seen that in my normal playthrough and I was just like, oh, I'll look at it eventually. And finally it's like, I should probably actually look at that. But it's literally just to tell you, hey, you can't use your ability on them anymore. It'll be nice when we level up enough. It'll eventually reach a point where every turn my first Psyker ability will actually reduce the perils of the warp, and I get that on every Psyker so that I can keep the perils low. But Idira gets the oh-so-fun unique ability that she's an unsanctioned Psyker, so she just has a 5% chance on every Psyker ability to just suddenly have a Perils of the Warp regardless of my roll. You know, fun times to be had there. Problem I have with Argenta is she's actually really squishy, which makes fighting with her kinda difficult. Because half the time you'll try to like move her around, and if you're not perfect on it, she just gets flattened, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, this is another problem the game has, is sometimes when you try to activate certain things, you have like a... You have like a formation, and the rest of your team will feel the need to move in formation. I need to see if there's a way I can actually... Because otherwise you can just unlink everyone and they just stand around. But you kind of need them linked so that you get their skill checks. Otherwise it just makes things a little more difficult. It's not impossible, mind you, just inconvenient. I hate having to use a key, but apparently everybody's failing the logic check. But it's fine, I never use those keys anyways. Usually I've had such good luck with stuff that I just never found myself needing to do it. Got a bunch of explosives if I want to use those to blast doors open. I try to avoid doing that too. Okay, so... that gives me tech use, which is fine, because I actually have a penalty to logic, so... a little bump to tech use will be nice. And we will equip him with a shotgun. So at close range we can knock guys back. Which may prove very useful. Collision's a little weird. Yeah, and all the cargo, because it's not really explained, gets turned into lots of this. Like, we have 101% holy gifts. And then we have another stack started there, so on and so forth. Different factions buy different things. So we can then sit here when we meet factions, if they're like, oh, we need, or we prefer heretic trophies. We hand it over, we get rep, and then we can buy fancier stuff from them. And we got a level up, which is nice. Oh, I just hit that. Never realized it. Yeah, so I get bring it down. So I give someone an extra turn, but they can't move, and they get half their action points. So it's not bad. It's a free... every turn I can give someone an attack, so it's super useful. Just means I can't attack every turn, but realistically, that's not a big deal. He gets Endure, which gives him reducing incoming damage by his toughness bonus, and he gains temporary health, which is partially why I say he's a good tank. She gets Exposed Weakness. There is value to using this stuff, but it's like, oh, you can reduce their dodge, parry, and armor. Or you can just build up a ton of exploit, and if you have someone who has a gun, they can shoot and get massive damage, so I'd rather just hit a guy with a revolver and make him turn into meat paste than make him hit 0 armor. Nargenta gets Revel and Slaughter. Immediately removes Winded until the end of combat, gains some bonuses. More or less just pop it round 1, and then try to get enough kills to reset it. Otherwise, it's okay. I'm not a fan of the soldier archetype. A lot of the classes aren't that great in my eyes, but it is what it is. I feel like I have to... Oh, you're really gonna have a... Sometimes the commands bug out. But I feel like I have to mention it because some people will come into this thinking this game is supposed to be like Baldur's Gate. And the obvious problem is Baldur's Gate is kind of, what if you had a CRPG and you just dumped everything into it? Also, the helmet gives 5% armor. So, because he's tanking, Abelard gets it. Abelard. I'm gonna end up pronouncing the name 2 different ways every time, but... But yeah, Rogue Trader's just it's an anomaly. Or not an anomaly. Baldur's Gate's an anomaly in comparison. The roar of the flames ring in your ears and the choking smoke makes you cough and gasp for air. You instinctively recoil from the scorching heat, wiping your face. A moment later, a hazy silhouette forms in the raging wall of fire. You are surrounded by ear-splitting noise and screaming, yet you distinctly hear the sound of footsteps. Then you see the figure walk out of the fire towards you. It is Theodora von Valancius. Her expression is calm, terrifyingly so for someone whose body is engulfed in an inferno. One of her hands is resting on the hilt of her power sword, and the other raised in an inviting gesture. Are you lost, my heir? Argenta goes as still as a statue, then slowly raises her weapon. An apparition, a sorceress apparition, trickery of the warp. Sister, you will lower your weapon. Despite his commanding tone, Abelard does not sound too confident. He is staring at the rogue trader, and you notice a muscle in his cheek twitching. Threatening the Lord Captain is outrageous. This is impossible. I doubt you are aware of the limits of what is possible, for your worldview is but an iota of what a rogue trader knows and sees. But I can tell that you would like me to share that knowledge with you, the power over reality. Theodora watches you without blinking. Her snake-like gaze almost makes you forget about the fire searing you, leaving burns on your skin. I can lead you out of these flames, show you a path, rid you of pain, and give you a weapon so that you may defeat your enemies. Decide. Your mouth begins to salivate. Each word Theodora speaks is like music to your ears. The entity that now dwells in the deepest recesses of your mind is pleading, begging, demanding that you give her an immediate answer, and that answer can be nothing other than acceptance. Do not listen to this abomination. If you There is naught but his light in your heart. If you are resolute in your faith, then step into the flames. The Emperor protects. His faithful will not be deterred by either darkness nor deceitful promises, nor will the fire burn those who carry the torch of faith in their soul. To the void with you. We need to follow Lady Theodora before we suffocate in this furnace. The people. Abelard looks back at the coughing and confused people around you. The survivors from the middle decks. We must help the crew, lead them out, find a way around. Over the roaring flames you hear distant sounds, frightened voices, screams, muffled and distorted as if there were a body of water between you and them. Then we'll miss our chance to meet up with Adira breaks off and starts coughing violently. Her knees buckle and she looks like she's about to fall. What are we waiting for? We're gonna go Iconoclast, which is like the neutral. Get the people off the bridge. I will not leave my people in harm's way. You look away and the illusion breaks. The unbearable heat instantly makes your skin burn and the voices of the people beyond the shroud of smoke grow stronger and hopeful once you and your companions rush back, barking orders and guiding the survivors. In your determination, you completely forget about Theodora, and when you turn your head, you see there's nothing but bellowing fire.
Where did it go? The thing that I've sworn.
To the same place all unholy visions go. Do you want to follow it, witch?
Crash the platform! Considering there's a 90% chance, I wonder what happens if you fail it. I feel like it's one of those, we're telling you it's a 90, but it's really guaranteed, because otherwise you don't have a choice. Just kind of a, we're teaching you this concept so you can utilize it later on.
Too late. We are too late. Or perhaps Edelthrad and his escort never made it here. Which would be even worse.
Or they could be fighting on the bridge as we speak, without us.
My lord, I beg your pardon for interrupting. The people are asking for orders. You came back to save us. So now we will follow you through thick and thin.
To the bridge. If Edelthrad is there, then he requires immediate assistance. I say there is one thing that I find most troubling. The Lord Captain's Voxcasts. They are still coming in, even though it would make sense for Lady Theodora to be on the bridge right now, at the head of the counter-assault. I feel uneasy. What if the Lord Captain is besieged in her own chambers? With your permission, I suggest that we confirm for ourselves that she is not. We can use the same elevator that Lady Theodora and Mort headed for earlier.
That's the elevator, but we're gonna look everywhere else, just in case. Okay, we looked everywhere else. Got some new goggles. which for the moment I'll take, because nobody else is going to use them. And the helmet, for dogmatic characters, grants critical hit immunity for the first 3 rounds. Which, for the moment, we can toss on Argenta. She looks like a absolute goober with it on, but... Theodora von Valancius' body is sprawled on the large, blood-drenched desk. The Archmilitant's corpse, still clutching a weapon, is slumped against one of the bulkheads.
Emperor, accept thy faithful souls.
No! Lord Captain, I didn't hear a thing. Not a whisper, not a breath. It was so loud. Why didn't I foresee this?
Lord Captain, who would even dare? Unless that rat, Voidsphere.
I doubt it. Voitvir wished humiliation and suffering upon Theodora, not a swift death.
It could have happened in the heat of battle. Not to mention that Mort was here, and he would have protected Lady Theodora to the last. How could Mort have failed her so terribly? The Archmilitant was born on a death world. He had lightning-fast reflexes.
I can look at things in my own way. If you find something that might bear the imprint of the killer, just give it to me, and I'll try to see what secrets it holds.
We'll check Mort first. An auto pistol shot went straight through Mort's forehead, spraying the floor and furniture around with blood, brain matter, and shards of his skull. The safety on the Archmilitant's weapon is off. The killer must have been a split second quicker than he. You lean closer to the body. The cause of death is apparent. What ended the road trader's life was an auto pistol shot, an extraordinarily accurate one at that. Theodora's face bears an expression of surprise, the last emotion she experienced in life. Something on the floor catches your eye, a heap of blood-splattered parchments and scrolls that must have fallen off the desk. As you lean down for a closer look, you notice something else. Small shards of glass scattered on the floor. We'll look at the papers. Reports, accounts, dispatches. You go over the scrolls until you stumble upon a document that is starkly different from the rest. It is a handwritten letter signed with the initials XC and a seal with a symbol that is vaguely familiar to you. And sends a shiver down your spine. The author of this letter addressed to Theodora von Valancius signed it with the seal of one of the holy ordos of the Emperor's Inquisition, the secret police of the Imperium that relentlessly hunts heretics, Xenos, and other enemies of humanity. We look at the shards. It is difficult to say what exactly was broken. The object fell on the floor, and that is as much as you can ascertain. Upon a closer examination, the shards appear iridescent rather than completely transparent, as if they had been submerged in promethium. Adira, what do the shards tell you?
I see Luminescence, blue lights, faces, drawing closer. Lady Theodora, and Conrad, and what is that? Ah! Something dark, enormous. Oh, this glass thing was something foul, that's for sure. Tainted witchcraft.
Adira, would you try touching Theodora? You might be able to see the killer through her eyes.
It doesn't work like that. I can try to read the memories of objects, but dead bodies are a different story. Something like that would require her soul. And after what we saw on the officer's deck, I won't risk searching for it in the warp.
We'd best be on our way.
Yes, the crucible of battle calls to me once more.
No, wait! We must see if we can find anything.
Idira, you can't bring her back. Let her go.
You'd give up so easily, old man? I expected as much from the sister. It's not like she has a heart. But you? Oh no. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'll find the one responsible for murdering the Lord Captain. And when I do, that scum will regret the day they were born.
Ooh, I got a cape. It kinda sucks, but we don't have another cape, so we'll just use it. And we got an amulet, which is a good starter as well. Theodora's Rosary, plus 10 to Commerce and Lore Imperium. Might as well take that and use it for the time being. Use up all our action points while we got them. Yeah, I want to try to make sure I don't hit Abelard with my attack, because you very much can. So it's like, I guess, backline? Oh, I guess I have to actually pop Revel and Slaughter when I build up my charges first. I guess I'm so used to not using it very often that it's always charged on my main run. Not gonna go for a second lightning because it's gonna boost our Perils of the Warp really bad. It's just the same old thing. Endure, charge, swing on them again. We will... Oh, I'm too far out. That's fine, I'll stay in the open, I don't care. Give you a boost. Give you a free turn. If I wanted to, I could Psychic Scream one of these guys maybe down, but we're just gonna go with that. Then just Pistol Burst. Kinda sucks that chewed up our stacks, but it's whatever. That was a pretty solid run through. What's this require? +5 toughness if their intelligence is less than 35. Okay, who's really stupid? Okay. Okay, everybody's dumb. Cool. Congratulations. You are now tankier. Yep, that's a normie las pistol. Yeah, we're just gonna remove that auto pistol. Those things suck. I wouldn't trust using it. Then Finest Hour, so now when we max out momentum, we can actually give someone a full proper turn. Okay, so that one was giving a bonus when bring it down is active, which might be useful. Otherwise, we gotta go way down. And we can start doing some funky psyker stuff. Not high enough level to boost our psi rating. What we can do, though, is stabilizing factor. First psychic power used each turn increases Veil degradation by 2 points less. If this talent reduces the effect on Veil degradation to less than 0, the degradation is instead increased or decreased by 1. Because then after that, I want to do biophysical distortion, all attacks, including damaging psychic powers, now poison enemies, which is always nice just for extra damage. Confer immunity just for overheal. Strange vitality is good. Gain toughness for each effect. There's some good moves we can definitely toss on. If I get a Force Sword, Blade of Light's really useful. Not doing Inscribed Soul because it hurts yourself and it's not useful in my eyes. Said I was going to use something and now I'm... yeah, Stabilizing Factor. Yep, Daring Breach gets a... not a new turn, but restores AP and MP, plus agility bonus worth of extra movement. Where is it? Dueling Mastery is going to be a good start, because if you look, we now have 85% parry chance. So, I can just throw him in and he will just eat hits like there's no tomorrow. There's probably a min-maxy way of like, I don't actually need to take this. But, I don't really care. I would rather have a guarantee that he's gonna be as tanky as possible than some kind of, oh, maybe down the line. Like, yeah, I think weapon skill increases parry, but for the time being, it's useful. And I think you can pay to respec anyways, so if I really need to, I can always do that. Which one? Instant exposure is good. Tide of Excellence, whenever an operative triggers an exploit, the operative gains 1 damage. That, on one of the other characters we can get, is going to be stupidly gross. Oh my god, which one is it? There is one ability that lets you just passively do all these bonuses. I'll figure it out eventually. But we're going for the same ability as before, Stabilizing Factor. Because I don't like my Psychers just triggering warp junk. Want to make sure that's what I grabbed. Because I'd feel real stupid if I accidentally grabbed the wrong thing. Yep. Yep, Firearm Mastery, get a new turn. Until the end of the soldier's turn, their first attack against each new enemy automatically scores a critical hit. They gain a number of extra attacks equal to their weapon's rate of fire. It's not bad. A lot of this stuff is like burst attacks, but it's just, oh, you get bonus damage. But early on, these AoEs are so inaccurate. You're banking on 20%, if that. And it gets worse for each guy past like the first one. So you'll be sitting there with like 5 or 0% chance hits. Rapid fire no longer reduces damage. Well, I kind of need rapid fire to actually hit. Revel and Slaughter can be used after 2 kills instead of 3. I see value in it. I'd like to get her to like heavy armor, but I think you have to be higher level. I could do like solid projectile weapon, but dodge chance is just dodge chance. I like having my people dodge anything to not die, because some of these early fights get real ugly real fast. Like, bad ugly.
The first sacrifice opens the eye. The second sacrifice draws its gaze.
Ethelthred, who is clutching a bleeding wound on his chest, gives you a tormented look. Help has arrived? Too late to change the tide, I'm afraid, but if there is any honor in you, we can at least die with dignity and give our lives for the rogue traitor. The Lord Captain will not be joining us. Ethelthred gives you a confused look, then as realization dawns on him, his eyes fill with disbelief. No, the rogue traitor is dead? Ethelthred shudders and grabs his shoulder as you watch the sleeve of his jacket burst open and 2 bone growths pierce through the fabric. No matter what ritual Conrad is performing there, the warp is too strong. I cannot withstand it. I feel my body changing with every second, the warp ringing in the air. This is the end. We will perish in the warp along with the warrant and all of the dynasty's heirs. The enemy of humanity has triumphed. Adira looks anxiously at Ethelthred, then she glances back at you. I've seen it before. We'd better get away from him. The changes are already accelerating. The ship can still be steered out of the warp, but we must first restore communication between the bridge and the navigator's sanctum. Ethelthred stares at you, his eyes harden with cold reserve once more. then we have no right to bow our heads. You can see Conrad Voigtver clearly in the gloom of the bridge. The broken blade he is holding is stained with dark drops that seem to have a pearlescent glimmer to them. We are out of time. Ethelthred bites his knuckle, desperately thinking. You see a wave ripple across the whites of Ethelthred's eyes, and they begin to turn a sickly yellow. Voigtver, you duplicitous cur, the rogue trader's death will be avenged. What? Theodora is dead? Voigtver stares at you in seemingly genuine bewilderment. No, that can't be. Not now. I still haven't... Ethelthred lowers his head. Then he sighs and locks eyes with you, his gaze cold, haughty, and fanatical. The ritual will not be completed. I'll take care of it, and you, see to it that the void ship breaks free of the warp, watch over our realm, and farewell. Ethelthred, don't!
Your ritual won't be finished, heretic!
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have stepped into the Tzeentch circle right there. You know, the Changer of Ways tends to do that to people. Alright, so we are going to position you like thus. You... That's about as good a spot as any. Yeah, we're just gonna hang out just buddies right here because we can't shoot down at this guy and we're kind of going to need to wipe out all this garbage as soon as possible. Alright, so get that going off rip. Really? You know what? That's fine. I will run over here and give the bring it down order. Gonna have to invest in that increased range. It's a little rough when you're just trying to like get a basic shot off. Yeah, because we need to ignore the chaos spawn and just have Abelard just duel with him, because he has, if we scroll down, Devour. Devours an ally, restoring 30% of the creature's maximum wounds. So we need to just chunk these dudes, bust them all down, get rid of them. You know what? Let's just go balls to the walls, fire our mastery from the jump, and just start putting shots into these guys. Because this is less healing. There's still going to be 2 potential heals on the board, 1 on each side. But we also have allies who might be able to help take them on, if anything. And I am playing on normal difficulty, in case someone's like, are you playing on, like, easy? No, this is normal. Revel and Slaughter, so I'm a little bit better next round. I got nothing I can do. Endure. Charge. Just start hitting him so we can try to eat one of his buddies right off jump. I mean, if we really want to, we could even do another series of attacks. Well, let's just do it. What are we waiting for? Let's force all these heals right out of him. Yeah, I was about to say, there's no way we can spot that guy from here. We'll take this spot, try to put a shot through him. Low chance, but it's worth a try. Try to space out a little bit. Give you foresight so you better dodge. And we will hold off because we have a good chance of just shooting Abelard in the back. Let's go! Everybody's already dead. You already got your strength up. Yeah, we can just give it to you, why not? Give him finest hour. Random guy, go boost your stat. Please suck less, thank you. Man, this is going way better. Yeah, her abilities are just kind of meh. Sadly, I do want to replace Argenta as soon as possible. I could make characters, but I don't know how I feel about it. Because part of the fun is having, like, original characters in the game. Yeah, we'll just hold off and keep building stacks. Okay, do you have strength up? Yes, you do. Congratulations, you get strength up. It would be nice, there's a staff that I can get that lets me do like a life steal. And that's probably gonna be like my opening Psyker move a lot when we get one. Oh damn, we don't get any more attacks. Yep, he died. That's unfortunate. Actually, no. What we're gonna do... hit him with that. Hit him with the scream. The random crewmate got the kill. Okay. What did we all get? Mantle of Heroism. Each heroic act used in battle increases the wearer's dodge by 20% until the end of combat. It's okay. Blade Shard. Okay, yeah, those gloves... Okay, I actually see a use for them. Here, wear these when inevitably perils of the warp take you out. Because I know it will happen. She will cast something, and last time I had it, a Bloodthirster of Khorne just popped out of nowhere. She got flattened, and it wiped the party. Very 40k of it to just completely screw us over like that. Okay, and then, wait, is it other way? Give me the goods. More cargo.
The heir is dead. He sacrificed himself to save the entire dynasty.
Old
And he
man,
became a
was
warp
never
beast.
going to make it. He was mutating right in front of us. You just ended his suffering sooner.
I mean, he became Chaos Spawn. I don't know how much suffering he really had left in him. As much as I'd like to stack willpower, we're gonna boost Fellowship, because that's gonna be useful. Dodge chance. More charge distance isn't bad, but the problem with Abelard is he's usually already in everyone's face, so he doesn't really benefit from increased charge distance. Any, like, origin traits or anything useful? Nah, all of these are only good if, like, you start... These would be good, because this is the ship captain, I think, or navy captain origin for the Brace for Impact. This is good if you play, like, an officer class, navy officer origin, and you start everyone right around you, so that if you can start first, you can pop this, and yeah. All allies affected don't suffer from melee superiority, so if you get surrounded enough, enemies get a bonus against you. It's flanking from, like, D&D 3.5. Allies only suffer half damage from all attacks of opportunity. Cover pen. Officer also permanently gains cover pen. Can use a ranged weapon without getting meleeed. Allies gain an extra turn with 3 movement and cover efficiency. So it's good to just be like, scatter, everybody do your positioning that you would normally do. or close to, but it's not the greatest. Let's do Contempt, because I can leverage that with some tank abilities and make him even meatier. Weapon skill is always going to be the obvious one. Boost critical hit chance, boost dodge, boost everything. Intelligence on her is just an absolute waste. It does affect Lore of Warp, which is kinda useful. But just boosting her perception is probably a better option. Yeah, ballistic skill, anything to make her shoot better. At full wounds, she has improved ballistic skill. Considering how often she gets shot at in my other playthrough, it's not worth it. Swift Slaughter might actually be the play, just so we can get it every 2 kills, pop it whenever a fight starts, so we can at least get her some better stat ups. Yeah, we'll go with that. It's a weird one for sure, but I think I can leverage it. And if you haven't figured out, I'm not building like min-maxy trying to break the game. I'm just kinda, I have an idea in mind and I'm gonna roll with it. Because I don't want to sit here and figure out the most meta builds and then breeze through the game, because that takes away from the fun. Ravor, Master Helmsman, System Status Report. By the Emperor, it's the Seneschal, living and breathing. The white-haired man with sickly, pale skin salutes you. Well, there's a tricky question. The whole place is so overgrown with foul wickedry we'll be scrubbing it off the vid screens for throne knows how long. How did you people survive in here? The man glances around the bridge. Must have been Providence. It better have been the Emperor's, not someone else's. When they barged in here, the ones with the Master Whispers, some officers charged them, but it wasn't even a fight. I grabbed whoever I could and dragged them behind the cogitators, then prayed for a rescue. We need to re-establish contact with the Navigator's Sanctum. It's our only chance of escaping the warp. Your words seem to knock the officers out of their stupor, and the air around you fills with voices and commands being issued. You hear someone sobbing, one of the officers buckling under the stress. Abelard cuffs the crying soldier without even looking. Restore the Vox channel to the Navigator's Sanctum. Ready the crew. Prepare for translation to real space. Abelard pauses for a few seconds before turning to you. You may call me superstitious, but translation is not a good time to disregard rules. You are the only one who speaks for House von Valancius. You may not be the Lord Captain, but you, more than anyone else, deserve to take her place in the ritual that is about to commence. He directs your attention upward to a throne that sits at the apex of the tall staircase. I'm ready. Begin the ritual. The image before you is hazy, swaying in sorcerous currents, invisible to mortal eyes, as if whatever beneath this thin shell is constantly changing, while still remaining the same. It has taken on the guise of Theodora, but the false rogue trader's eyes reveal the entity's true, surreal nature. One of Theodora's eyes is engulfed in otherworldly fire, the other, a vessel of ancient evil, bores into you. A voice seeps directly into your brain without ever reaching your ears, and this voice booms with all the horrors of the warp. Who are you to oppose destiny itself for the sake of lives that are not your own? So many threads stretch before you and other creatures of your world. Pitiful, worthless links ready to shatter at the slightest touch. A muddled, erratic, pointless tangle. It resonates and merges with the voices that have already dug their foul roots into your consciousness. A moment later, you realize that all these voices are the myriad manifestations of the same call that has finally invaded your mind. I'm saving my people. Do your worst, but you cannot stop me. Theodora lets out a long screech, a shrill, overwhelming sound that only can be interpreted as laughter. Lead them, mortal. Guide them, persuade them, force them to walk your path. You will need followers, for destiny is preordained. Conrad Voitvir... you have to read that. Your head begins to spin, and the viscous drops slither down your cheeks. You blink, and you are no longer looking at Theodora. It is the traitor Voitvir. Just as fluid and ephemeral as the previous apparition, the same terrifying voice seethes from his lips. The aspirant vowed to return with a trophy, a relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. That fate was assured and the steps chosen, and yet you broke the unbreakable when you took the aspirant's place. I see you. On the day when the final dawn rises over the Iron World, I see you by my side on that day, the day of my resurrection. The image is scattered by invisible sorcerous winds, and you see Idira, her eyes aglow with the same sinister flame. Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I am the will of the Weaver of Destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. The thread that will guide you and the weapon of our return to me. A cavalcade of hazy glimpses of a future yet unknown passes before your eyes, a flash of crimson, purple. The images replace one after another in violent kaleidoscope without ever letting you get a proper look at them. Through the rippling mirage, you see a twisted image of Abelard, the loyal seneschal of the dynasty. The path is set, child of the dawn. The thread is woven. Follow it, servant of mine. Ravor turns around and looks up to you. He hesitates for a few moments, then addresses Abelard, who is standing next to you. Seneschal, the navigator's sanctum is silent, the Vox signal is stable, which means... Abelard nods absent-mindedly. The navigator gave his life battling the storm that nearly claimed the Von Valancius flagship. We will honor his memory along with that of all who died this day. Ravor does not look away. He is giving you a hard stare, his white brows furrowed. Seneschal, will you tell us now? Who is that? Where is the Lord Captain?
As First Officer, it is my duty to inform you with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty. By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision, it is hereby declared that the successor to Theodora von Valancius is her heir, the rightful inheritor of the Warrant of Trade, and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim, have you lost your tongues? Hail your lord. It is because of his toils that we all still live. The deed is done, Master. My apologies. I meant to say Lord Captain.
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost. Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members. Yet hope remained, for the second in line to the Rogue Trader dynasty survived, and through the strength of his resolve, saved those who were counting on him for protection.
Deep shadows of weariness can be seen on Abelard's face, though the old officer's eyes are keen. They rake over you from head to toe, He frowns, mutters something, then nods to himself. Well then, your lordship. You cannot help but notice the Seneschal does not know how to talk to you or where to begin. His hesitation brings an involuntary smirk to your face, as though someone else entirely is gloating at the old officer's confusion. Seeing your smile, Abelard pulls himself together. You must now hold your first officer's briefing in your new role as Lord Captain. For many of those who are about to join us on this bridge, this will also be their first briefing. We sustained massive losses among the senior and middle-ranking officers. Some posts have had to be filled by the deputy's deputy, while others go unfilled entirely, and now the deck clans are deciding who will take over the leaderless crews. I'm ready to start the briefing. Summon the officers. With a gesture, Abelard relays the order to the adjutants at the far end of the magnificent chamber. A dozen pair of eyes bore into you, the expressions revealing restraint, joy, curiosity, and wariness. Attention officers, you have been granted an honor. Lord Captain Ulysses von Valancius will personally conduct today's briefing. Our most gracious Lord Captain is ready to hear your reports. Perhaps you could introduce those present, Abelard? As you wish, your lordship. Abelard points to a tall, slender woman whose body seems to contain as many implants as it does flesh. Vigdis Suri Atta of the Ptoleman line, our new Voxmaster. It is an honor to serve, your lordship. The Voxmaster offers a deep bow. Aboard this vessel you have at your command thousands of crew members and hundreds of officers and section chiefs. I am responsible for receiving, processing, and sending all communications between you and them, as well as external sources. I am your eyes and mouth, Lord Captain. Beside her is Ravor, the Master Helmsman. He steers our ship along the course set by the Lord Captain and monitors the void around us to ensure we do not stray into an asteroid field or a pirate trap. The bearded man with pale, almost transparent skin, large dark circles under his eyes, and a dour expression that seems hardwired into his face gives a sullen nod. Hail, Lord Captain. This here ship's as good as home to me, so rest assured she is in safe hands. I'll die before I let her come to any grief. And lastly, our high factotum, Janris Danrock, who oversees supplies procurement and the general material well-being of the ship. Dressed in an embroidered jacket, the heavy-set man with oiled hair offers an obsequious smile and bows. It is an honor, your lordship. You may trust me with all matters concerning your comfort. Everything will be done to the highest standard. In the second row, we have the 3 officers charged with overseeing the ship's vital functions. The Master of Ordnance is responsible for the artillery aboard, the Infernus Master, whose crew work to prevent and extinguish fires on the ship, and lastly, the Drives Master, servant of the Omnissiah. The 3 officers salute you. The Infernus Master does so with confidence, while the Master of Ordnance betrays nervousness. The Drives Master offers a salute resembling a dance involving the complicated manipulation of all the tech priests and mechadendrites. Thank you, Abelard. Greetings to you all. I serve at your pleasure, Lord Captain. I want to hear from the Infernus Master's report. Yes, Lord Captain. The tall young man bows his head in deference. I can report that all fires across all decks have now been extinguished. The preliminary damage assessment in terms of material losses and crew casualties has been completed. The results have been submitted to the Seneschal and the High Factotum. The post passed to him after the previous Infernus Master and his next 3 deputies expire in the line of duty. Abelard remarks in a low-pitched voice for your ears only. The lad is managing well so far. He can take the heat, so to speak. High Factotum, what do you have to report? We are toiling day and night to complete a full account of the losses. The task will require next to no involvement from your lordship. I will personally ensure that all damaged components are given to the tech priest's hands for attention and that all lost supplies are replaced. There is only one resource that I cannot replenish single-handedly, and that is people. We have lost more than 2,000 crew members, and unfortunately this number is not confined to the scum from the lower decks, which are easily replaced, but also includes trained professionals. We will be able to make up our losses on the nearest planet, Rykad Minoris. However, the planet, the whole system in fact, belongs to the Winterscale Rogue Trader dynasty. We cannot simply begin recruiting on the planet without first coming to an understanding with the governor. In that respect, I am powerless. Negotiations at this level are a matter of the Rogue Trader. Especially true given Caligos Winterscale's penchant for attacking first and asking questions later, and the kind of thick-skulled thugs he usually installs as governors on his planet. Rumbles Abelard, frowning. Drives Master, I will hear from you now. A voice distorted by a Vox retranslator emerges from under the tech priest's scarlet hood. Lord Captain, the foes that set upon this noble void ship destroyed the repositories of hundreds of machine spirits. The great warp engine entrusted in my charge is unharmed, thank the Omnissiah, but its spirit mourns its dead brethren. We have not yet identified a prayer protocol capable of assuaging its sorrow and anger. With great sorrow, I must also report that the Enginseer Prime, overseer, and spiritual authority of all tech priests on board fell in battle. The Magos was betrayed by the little flesh that remained part of him. A most terrible loss. There is no one among my comrades aboard whose experience and comprehension of the sacred protocols equals that of the fallen Magos. We require a replacement, and as soon as possible. I see, thank you. The tech priest bows her head. Master Helmsman, deliver your status report. Right you are, Lord Captain. To cut a long story short, the outlook is bleak. The ship's sound, more or less, but without our Enginseer Prime and Navigator who fell in the battle, we have no way out of the system. If we try to set as much as a toe inside the warp, I don't know what will happen first. Our warp drive will be torn to pieces, or all of us melting into the bulkheads. Your Lordship, if you will allow me to interject, when we arrived in this system, my crew followed standard protocols and conducted a count of all available communication channels in the region. One of them was a Navis Nobilite station. The station maintains complete Vox silence, but even its presence here inspires hope. To have located a navigator in the very same system is an incredible stroke of luck, a true blessing from the God Emperor. A sharp bolt of pain lances through your skull as if in response to what you just heard. You understand that it is not the God Emperor you should thank for such good fortune. The words of the demon that appeared before you during the translation into real space echo in your mind. I am the will of the Weaver of Destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances, the thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility, the thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. If I were you, I'd grab this chance with both hands, or else you'll be soon eyeing up asteroids to use as your new residence. In slightly less shitty news, we can go around and round the system till our heads are swimming as long as the Promethium and supplies last. But if any thick as grok shit lowlifes come sniffing around, we'll be able to take them out, so don't you worry on that score. Master of Ordnance, do you have anything to report? The Master of Ordnance gives you a gloomy look. No, my job's simple. Maintain the arsenal and fire where I'm told. But just ask anyone. We've got no able crew, no Lord Captain. Master of Ordnance, you forget yourself. The Master of Ordnance chokes back the words he was obviously about to blurt out without thinking. He casts another look at you before lowering his gaze. I apologize profusely, Lord Captain. Pardon the fool. The ship is in ruins, every other officer is dead, and the Lord Captain is no longer with us. Fear has taken hold of me. He looks up at you. But I have heard of you. Oh yes, your fame has reached even as far as the Expanse. I can't be showing myself up in front of an illustrious person such as yourself. He adjusts his uniform and stands ramrod straight. The Master of Ordnance can report that the rest of the arsenal has been saved and the battery is in good order. We are ready to fight if that is the Lord Captain's will. Oh, God. To summarize, we have sustained serious losses in crew numbers, and we require a new Enginseer Prime and Navigator. Is this all that is preventing us from continuing the voyage? Precisely, Lord Captain, but bear in mind that this is not to be the end of our trials. The ship's systems must be properly inspected for major damage, which can only be carried out at Footfall Station, home to the only dockyard in the sector, but we will never reach Footfall without first solving these three immediate problems. Thank you for your reports. Dismissed. The assembled officers salute you as one. Your Lordship, there's another thing, a confidential matter of the utmost importance. Lady Theodora, Abelard hesitates, your eternally esteemed predecessor brought the ship here to this system for a reason. She was given a secret mission. You are perhaps wondering who has the authority to commission a rogue trader to do anything, and I shall tell you. The Lord Inquisitor, the Hand of the Emperor, the chief architect of his will in the Coronis Expanse. I came across this strange handwritten letter on Theodora's desk. It was signed XC. You are referring to the contents of that note, I presume? Yes, quite right. XC, Xavier Calcazar. Lady Theodora was to seek out the Lord Inquisitor's right hand, one Henrix von Calix, an Inquisitor, or Interrogator, you understand, as all I know is that he is somewhere in the system, that we must find him and offer him whatever assistance he requires, and then deliver him to Footfall in the Furibundus system. Finding him without any more information to go on will be difficult indeed, but an Inquisitor is an important individual. The authorities in the system, either the Navis Nobilite, or the Governor of Rykad Minoris, may know something. That's all of it, your lordship. You have a great deal of work ahead of you, but it is a mere taste of the daily burden of the rogue trader. Soon you must take up the reins of the Von Valencius Protectorate. Abelard gives you another scrutinizing look, as if trying to gauge how long you will hold out under this mountain of problems. His face softens slightly, and it seems he's about to offer some words of encouragement. Adira, Sister Argenta, please explain yourselves. Sister Bal nods toward Adira. The Psyker is suffering some ailment or dark madness. She insisted on seeing the rogue trader. I judged that it would be unwise to leave her unsupervised. For a brief moment, Sister Argenta's voice sounds hesitant. I was also hoping to approach you with a personal request, but it can wait. Speak with me when you have the time, rogue trader. Adira's glazed eyes rove over those assembled. One word burst from her lips. Daybreak. Adira, come to your senses. Damn it, she presses her fingers into her temples in desperation. Your lordship, here's the thing. I was trying to see the immediate future, and it hit me so hard my head is spinning. Something so strange is coming our way, and I can't make out what it is. No matter how hard I try, a single word is all I can make out. Daybreak. Or maybe it's dawn, and it's ringing and ringing like an echo, like a bell. But if it's daybreak, then why is it so dark? We cannot extract any information of value from a single word. Can you tell us anything else, Mistress Tlass? No, not yet, anyway. The voices are all going berserk, all shouting at once. I can't make sense of any of it. As soon as I know or sense anything, I'll report it, alright? Lord Captain, if you want me to take a closer look into your future, find me on the bridge and we can talk. Lady Theodora was well served by my whispers on many occasions, and I'm sure you would benefit from them as well. The Psyker's bitten lips stretched into a wry smile. If there's anything else of value to report, I declare this briefing concluded. It's time to get to work. Once again, I am sorry about flubbing some of the reading. I don't talk and read at the same speed, and I'm not used to it. I don't do it very often, and this game is just all reading aloud. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.